working on it. That's an old. Checking the mic. All right, we are live again here on the Toad Hall Morning Show.
Well, we are. I'm not.
We're having
We're having technical difficulties this morning.
No, not really. We're having me and Annette are tired difficulties this morning.
Yeah, it's just.
So this week on the morning show it's Cheap Trick Week, guys.
Well, I don't have Cheap Trick, but I've got.
That's close enough.
Hard Rock Casino of Rockford.
We'll talk about that too today. So we're going to talk about all things. We're going to go over the history of Cheap Trick. We're going to talk about the new record. We're going to talk about what we have for those guys. My favorite record of theirs, your favorite record of theirs, maybe some cool memories we have of them. Also, Record Store Day list was announced last week. We are going to start talking about Record Store Day for the June and July dates. We'll talk about that. We have a large sale in the store this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have a sale. We'll talk about that.
Ooh, big sale.
There's a scavenger hunt, online scavenger hunt, so everybody in the interweb can check out our store. And we have a lot to cover.
Check that
this
out.
week.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is it?
Yes,
cool.
Yes, it is. I'm pretty proud of it. And then, of course, we have some used vinyl we're going to go over and show you guys what kind of new things came in.
Yeah. So why did we decide on Cheap Trick this week?
Well, we're jumping right into it here. We started a Cheap Trick this week because their new record, In Another World, came out last Friday. So it's not even been out a week yet. In Another World is their 20th studio album. Came out here in Rockford, Illinois. They're obviously they're our hometown band here. Mm-hmm. A lot of the guys went to school, less than a mile away from here. Rick's dad's music shop, again, we're on Broadway and 17th. His music shop started on 7th.
Right.
So 10 streets over. Mm-hmm. So all the Cheap Trick history is really we're surrounded by it here at the store.
Absolutely.
And people from all over the world come do the Cheap Trick tour, and then they'll stop here. Obviously, we're one of the, obviously back in the 70s, there were other music shops in the city. We were one of them. Mm-hmm. All the others have now closed. We're the last remaining from that era, the time period.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so those guys used to shop here. And I have I'm going to post a video of Rick came in and did an interview in our store for our 40th anniversary of the store. And so I'll put that up on YouTube. Hopefully this week.
I've never even seen that before.
Yeah, he did a little news interview for us here in the shop.
Sweet.
So it's a handful of years old, but it's still pretty cool. So we got that. Have you heard the new record yet? What did you think?
I liked it.
I loved it.
What are you doing? It really. I guess it reminds me more of their 80s, early 90s stuff. A lot of the songs on there do.
Yeah, some of the songs really have a signature Cheap Trick sound to them.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Now I kind of told everybody my favorite song on the record is definitely the hardest rocking song, which is "Light Up the Fire." Mm-hmm. Definitely a rocking song. They let Dax kind of go free on the drums. So it felt like an AC/DC song. "Give Me Some Truth," obviously. A Lennon song that was originally put out here for Record Store Day, 7-inch.
Last year on Black Friday, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah.
So they put that song on the CD. They stuck that on the end, which is a really. I'm not big on cover songs, especially Beatles cover songs, but they did a really good job of "Give Me Some Truth." In Another World, Boys, Girls, Rock and Roll. Every time I listen to it, I find a new song that I really like on it. Unfortunately, there's only CD out right now. The vinyl LPs got delayed. Like just about everything in the vinyl world right now is delayed.
Oh, my bad. This computer's going to be closing, guys.
Oh, boy.
So we'll just have to wing it with
one
next computer. The song "Give Me Some Truth."
Yep.
Sex Pistols. Steve Jones plays in that.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
That is really. They got kind of everybody in on that thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you haven't checked this out, do check it out. We have them for sale on our website. I mean, they're all over the, you can download it or buy it from their site or wherever. Go out and check it out. It is definitely worth a listen.
And a little bit that I read about this specific album is that Quit Waking Me.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
A little bit of difference from what they've done before. So that's why I like this. There's a variety.
Huh. Yeah. There's definitely,
musical types in
there's
there.
definitely, and they have the softest song on the record, So It Goes, is right before the hardest song. Here's Looking at You, In Another World, Reprise, which is real, kind of a cool little melody thing. So definitely worth checking out. Check it out. We'll go over some of the, you got some history. Let's go through some history, and then we will,
Well, let's put something up in here so people can
all
look
right,
at it.
all right. We'll do some history, and then we'll start. I'm guessing your history starts at the beginning.
Well, I didn't do a lot because it would take hours.
Yeah, we could do like a 4-hour show
Yeah.
on Cheap Trick history.
So the basic beginning, just a little rundown of some of the bands that the different musicians have been in.
Yep.
So besides Cheap Trick, Rick Nielsen's been in The Boys, The Grim Reapers, and The Phaetons, and I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Phaetons.
I think so.
Phaetons. Rick Nielsen and Tom Peterson were in Fuse, and then they joined Bunny Carlos in Sick Man of Europe.
Yep.
Okay. Singer of that group was Robert Anthony, former of Nas, or is it Nas? Todd Rundgren's band?
Nas.
Nas, okay. So that's a little early history. Some of the bands that they opened for have been the Kinks, Kiss, Boston, and Santana.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much
Santana,
everybody.
I mean, any of those shows would have been really good. I've seen them, but they were the main band.
Yeah.
And not opening for some of these others. Do we have Budokan in here?
I don't think we have a Budokan. They were out of them.
So their first 3 albums did better in Japan than in the U.S.
Yeah.
And then after they recorded live at Budokan, which I think was the first Cheap Trick I ever had,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to date myself here. I had it on 8-track, I believe.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
8-track.
8-track. If I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to think that car. I had a '72 Chevelle and had one of those, under the dash 8-track
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8-track. How about that?
How about that?
So we got someone chiming in. If you've not listened to Cheap Trick before, where would you start?
Ooh. What kind of music?
And I see someone who said Cheap Trick's version of Magical Mystery Tour is great. So we kind of started with the history. We're going to move into, we're going to fast forward to like the 2000s.
Sure.
Cheap Trick did a stint in Las Vegas where they covered
Yes.
Sgt. Pepper's.
Yes.
They were in Vegas and they played Sgt. Pepper's front to back every night for, I don't know, they did months-long stint of that record. My favorite Cheap Trick record is the latest, which is,
And I don't really know that one too much.
and it happened right. They wrote it right after they did the Beatles thing, and that album sounds like a Cheap Trick Beatles record. It really is a cool record. It's the last record with Bunny Carlos on it, because currently they have Dax, which is Rick's son, playing drums, which really livened things up for the current era. So that's a cool spot to start. I think most classic fans would say Budokan. Live at Budokan, which is their biggest selling album of all time. We don't even have one in
No,
stock.
we don't.
It will have all their early hits live. It has a lot of energy on it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It kind of,
My favorite song on it, Surrender. I love it.
starting
Yeah.
starting as someone who's never heard any before, I think I would start there and then look at the latest and then maybe even In Another World, because they're of the same sort of flavor, but they are very different. I mean, this is more like garage rock, 70s kind of, garagey rock, and then it got more poppy, and then it got, in the 80s and 90s it changed, and then in the 2000s it became more Beatles-esque, and now we've got, a kind of a mix of everything on the new one. So I would definitely start with Budokan, and then try out some of the newer stuff. I think try both, because you might like one or the other. Okay, so we're going to go back, throw it back in time. Back to, you're talking about Fuse, which is their band right before they formed Cheap Trick. You were talking about all their early bands.
Yeah.
They eventually did all get together. The record label didn't really like Fuse. They didn't think it was very sellable. So
And
they
I
said
don't know anything
they had to
about
change
Fuse.
the name. They didn't like the name. The label didn't like the name. Okay, fine, we'll change it. Well, they were on Epic, by the way. The Fuse record is on Epic. It looks like a bomb. It's like a time bomb that's shown from the top.
Oh, okay.
We've had them in here. We get originals in, or we used to quite often. Now we haven't in quite some years. But they are out there. They do exist. Hope someday they reissue them again. But this is their first record. So this is their first. It's the self-titled.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they have 2 self-titled records.
Oh.
They have this is their first record. They did have a second self-titled in the 90s, I believe. But this is the one that most people would think of their self-titled.
Oh, definitely. I feel kind of lost here without my computer.
I know your computers might as well just fold it down. Mark said he would start with the debut album. It defines Cheap Trick's sound, the band's best album by far, well produced, engineered by Jack Douglas, performance on top notch. Again, another not a bad way to go. Mm-hmm. Another person asked if they have a greatest hits. They do have a greatest hits CD. Just remember that the greatest hits CD was made in the 90s. So it's not going to have any of their later stuff, which I really like their later stuff.
There was that Record Store Day release.
The live one?
Last year.
year.
Yeah, I think it was live, and that, I don't know how available that is, but I just listened to that one like last
Live
week,
from
and it was-
78.
Yeah, I don't remember. the
So
name.
yeah, you could start with the greatest hits.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go buy. I think we have it on our website, the Cheap Trick Greatest Hits, for like $5. The CD. They don't have it on vinyl. I've never seen the greatest hits on vinyl because, like I said, it came out in the 90s. So
Oh, no wonder I have it. No, yeah, I've got it at home on CD. I think.
everyone's got it on CD. It's a real common CD because it's right in the 90s.
Right.
But yeah, so first one, always another good choice. I don't know if we have their second one. We don't have Heaven Tonight.
We don't?
I thought we did, but Dream Police was another really big popular one back in the day. There's the boys in the back. There's those guys goofing off on the back. Next position, please. With Rick with his famous guitar there with multi. That's only his 2-necked. He's got a 5.
His 2-neck?
It has a name. It's
makes a little, where is it here? He's talking about his 5-neck guitar. Oh, yeah, he said it's made by, I'm going to say Hamer Guitar. It's
Hammer guitar, yeah.
Well, it's Hamer. Is it Hammer? I don't know. So, yeah, that's who created his 5-neck guitar.
Yeah, same thing with this. This is a Hammer guitar as well.
Yeah.
Rick is a very avid guitar collector. I mean, if anybody who collects guitars knows Rick Nielsen, because obviously his father or his grandfather, I think his father had the guitar shop here in town. Mm-hmm. So he grew up in a music shop collecting and having instruments around, and he has an incredible guitar collection. In fact, a lot of other rock stars trade with him and buy from him, and he buys from them and trade and sell. Like I said, he's got guitars that are unbelievable.
Well, and from my recollection, he put out a book, published a book with some
He does.
of his different
Yeah,
guitars
he's got
in
a
it,
couple
yeah.
books, at least one, maybe 2 books out of his guitars.
They used to rehearse in the basement of his dad's music shop.
I believe it.
Yeah, in the 70s, mid 70s. Mm-hmm.
Heaven Tonight, Rick brushing his teeth. Now I can't emphasize. I'm gonna instead of just going through the history, and we could talk about that for days.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite Cheap Trick album? Did you say the new Record Store Day one? Do you think? Would that
Well, I know my favorite song is "Surrender," which is on here,
yeah, I think that's.
and I cannot pick out one particular album.
Surrender's the title track on this
There's
one.
too many that I like.
California Man, which is a cover.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there are too many that you like. There's a lot of good Cheap Trick. It's hard to pick out anything in particular and say it's the best. Let's see what else we got. They did several compilations for RSD. Yes, they have It seems like almost every year they're putting something out for RSD.
Yeah.
And that last one, that last live in
Yeah.
78, everyone loved that thing. It's a white cover
That's
with
the
the
one
boys
I
on.
have that I
Yep.
was listening to. Yeah.
That
That's
one's
really
huge.
good. Mhm.
This is the one, we're all right. This is the one right before In Another World. So this is their one that came out in 2017. Again, they got Dax on this one already. So, and then we got Cheap Trick Christmas, or Christmas LP. The guys put out in 2017 as well.
Ago,
Yeah, a couple years ago. And Bang Zoom Crazy. This is another one of their later ones. Of the three, I think the new one's my favorite. In Another World, I think is better. I like better than the other two. Well, I'm telling you, the latest is still my favorite. Came out on 8-track. They put it on. I think they put it on. I don't think they put it. Did I put it on cassette? No, they put it on CD. No, it's called the latest.
Oh, the latest. Okay.
Anyway. Oh, and the Flame. We got a Flame 7-inch for $5. That's such a good song.
Yeah, it is.
Surrender
It's
and the
on
Flame.
back
Those are
through
like
the night, back
through the nights, the backside. So yeah, we got some really cool fans. We're big, obviously huge Cheap Trick fans. We got else you got for history, and then I'm going to show off some of our sweet. It's not for sale, but we're going to hang it. We're going to be expanding here hopefully this year, and we're going to hang some of this cool stuff up in our store so you guys can come check it out.
I like the guitar at
All right.
Stockholm Inn.
So
You
yeah,
see that
tell them
one?
about that.
At a local Swedish restaurant called the Stockholm Inn, in the foyer, there's a picture. Well, the guitar's there. It's
hanging on the wall when
hanging
you
on the
walk
wall,
in.
and it's Swedish. It looks like kind of like the Swedish flag. It's a blue and yellow.
Yeah.
Swedish flag colors.
So
it's
and
pretty cool.
and these guys, I have to tell you, they're really down to earth. I run into Rick at the grocery store in the bank sometimes. I mean, I walk into the bank and I run into your local rock star, and obviously because we've done things together and we promoted and stuff, hey, how's it going? Nick shakes my hand, says, hey, how's it going? And what are you doing? Oh, I'm getting ready to head off to Australia next week, and we did this
Probably
and we did
go
the
see some of the bands he likes, huh?
Yeah, so I'm like, oh my gosh, what a different life, right?
So what's his favorite band? I know you know it. You said it last week.
Rick, if he said he was ever in another band, he said he would love to be in AC/DC. And you can definitely hear it on a couple songs, these new records.
And
he always says that. He's like, oh, if I wasn't in Cheap Trick, I'd be in AC/DC.
One of his little quotes was, I always try to see AC/DC wherever I am.
Yeah.
I've known these guys a long time. We've toured together, and they're the one band I'd watch every single night.
Yep.
They've always been one of my favorites. And I think a few other people like them, too.
Yeah. He was also influenced a lot by the older, and this is in our interview video that I'll post up on our YouTube this week, talking about like Otis Redding, and he grew up in the church doing gospel songs, and a lot of that old 60s rock and stuff. Anyway,
so what you got there?
this is signed Robin Zander with a Cheap Trick pick. Was signed in Dubuque County Fair. Oh, it's signed in the Wisconsin Dells in 2020.
The picture
was taken in a different spot.
At the Dubuque County Fair, July 29th of 2011. And then it was signed in January of 2020 at Mark's in the Wisconsin Dells. I didn't even know we had this. There's a Cheap Trick pick down here.
It's because it's not for sale. That's why you don't know we have it. This is hanging. This is our stuff. Sorry, guys. This stuff ain't for sale.
This is going to go in the expansion.
Yeah, it's going to go on our wall in the expansion.
Cool.
If you didn't know, Rick has a few sons. Dax, who's now the drummer in Cheap Trick, and Miles, who has a band called Miles Nielsen and the Rusted Hearts. This is a signed drum head from these guys. A different feel, more Americana. How would you explain Miles Nielsen's music?
I don't know. I've not really listened to
Not
enough
listened
of
to
it to be able to describe it.
I've seen them a number of times. They play around Rockford all the time, of course.
Not lately.
Yeah, no.
Not the last year.
I would say something like Nathaniel Rateliff kind of music. Maybe a little less vocal, a little bit more folksy. But, a modern Tennessee, Nashville style original band. I don't want to say Zach Brown. That's too country. It's too pop. But just really good Americana rock and roll. Check those guys out. Miles Nielsen, the Rusted Hearts. A phenomenal kind of side shoot. Now, current day, they're all touring together. So there's a new thing called the Nielsen Trust, which is Miles Nielsen, his wife, Dax Nielsen, who's the drummer for Cheap Trick, and Rick Nielsen all go on tour as called the Nielsen Trust. They just put out tour dates, and I think they go all the way like to Virginia, to Nashville. I want to say they get sort of out east, like Ohio. I know they go out towards Iowa, into Wisconsin, obviously around here.
And your parents saw them last year right before COVID.
Yeah, so they had a whole tour. They had like 25 dates, and my parents saw the last show in the Dells, before they shut it down, and it got canceled. So I haven't even gotten a chance to see them. But they'll be on my bucket list here as soon as COVID lets us have shows.
Don't lose your phone.
All right, guys, this is the big shebang. This is going in our shop. So again, not for sale.
You might have to do it sideways.
No, it'll fit.
Okay.
I got it.
But it's not going to show in the... Oh, okay.
It shows.
Close enough, yeah.
We got a Cheap Trick signed guitar with a glass case. How cool is this? Obviously signed by all the original members. It's got Bun. It's got... This is Surrender to the 009. Rick's. Everyone on there. So that'll be hanging in our store. You guys will be able to check that out soon enough. But I just wanted to show it off for the Cheap Trick show
cool.
tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Nice
excited.
and a really nice acrylic
acrylic
case. That's going to look just
So speaking
really
of
cool
things in acrylic cases, did you ever go to Rick's Picks when it was here? Okay, for you, those of you who don't know, Rick's Picks was a museum put up by Rick Nielsen of Cheap Trick, all things Cheap Trick. That was a limited time. It was like a year long or like 18 months long stint here at our museum. It was a fundraiser to help the museum.
Oh, okay. Was it at Burpee?
Yes, it was.
Burpee Museum. Okay.
I think we went twice. It was so good.
Cool.
So they had a bunch of his guitars on display. Rick kept everything. He has ticket stubs, picks. He has drawers full of like notepads that said like who paid for gas and beer and what on like this day, who on the first Fuse tour. I mean, he kept everything. He's a pack rat.
Oh, he's also been on
American Pickers.
Right? And
they bought a few things off of him. Mm-hmm. Well, he's got so much. He can spare a few things. I was leading into that because Rick Nielsen is partners in the new Hard Rock Casino.
That's why I chose, since I didn't have a Cheap Trick shirt, mine are all gone. That's why I chose to wear this shirt.
So Rockford is getting a Hard Rock Casino. Mm-hmm. We're awaiting final approval from our wonderful Illinois government. Hopefully we'll get final approval here in the next month or so. Once they do, they're going to start digging. There will be a Cheap Trick exhibit at the new casino,
that would be so cool.
Which will probably be a large part or all of the Rick's Picks exhibit will be on display there permanently.
You know what's interesting is I think that every Hard Rock Casino I've been to, and I've been to quite a few throughout the world, I swear there's at least one Cheap Trick artifact in each Hard Rock.
I'm pretty sure he said there's one of his guitars in every one of them.
Yeah.
Which doesn't surprise me.
No, not at all.
And even cooler, you know how usually they put something big out front? They got an ordinance from the city of Rockford to erect a 50-foot tall hammer checkered guitar in the front. So when you pull up to the casino, there's going to be a 50-foot tall hammer checkered guitar in the front of the Hard Rock. That's going to be the sign.
I didn't know that.
5 stories tall. So the city already approved that.
That's
obviously.
10 times taller than me.
So yeah, we got some cool things with Rick. Obviously, the city loves them. Hard Rock loves them. Everybody here thinks it's so cool. Congrats on the new album.
Yeah.
And the Miles, the Dax, Miles Nielsen Trust, the whole 9 yards. Great for the city. They always give back. They always come back. They haven't forgot about us. So.
Hey, I need to give a shout out to probably their biggest fan ever, my cousin Vicky.
She is a huge Cheap Trick fan.
She came in, December-ish or so, and bought a bookshelf unit for her office so she could listen to Cheap Trick. Nick met her, and she's
up there. I've met a few.
She's all-time Cheap Trick there.
I met some guys that come over from like Germany, and they're in Cheap Trick cover bands, and they do the tour. They go and visit all the stops, and so there's a lot of Cheap Trick fans out there.
So yeah. This was a fun show.
That was,
try to get a little bit of everything in because there's just so much history.
Is there any other highlights on the history? We just want to go over real quick.
But a different TV series that the songs have been, different movies that the songs have
Oh, yeah.
been. So some of the TV series that have used the song "Surrender" specifically
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
was Scrubs, Cold Case, Supernatural,
South Park.
New Girl, Californication, and Life in Pieces, and then they
Oh, they did the soundtrack
the
for.
song for the '70s show,
Yep.
Hanging Out, Hanging Out.
Yeah, it was originally a Big Star song, and then Cheap Trick covered
In
it.
the Street was
In the Street.
was the Big Star song.
Yeah. Oh, they
Yeah.
just covered it. It's the same
Yeah.
song. They just covered it.
But
And
they
jazzed it up.
But they incorporated the "We're All Right" chant from Surrender.
We're all right.
Yeah.
We're all right. Yeah, they did a. That was
that's,
cool.
I love that show because that's just like me right there. If I would.
I know that '70s show is a phenomenal.
I can relate to that show like nobody else.
Yeah, that was a
When
good
it
one.
first came out, my son's like, "Yeah, Mom, that's Kitty, that's you."
So there's a 3D scavenger hunt on our website right
So how does this work?
now. Okay, so we had a 3D scan done of our store. So all of you out there in the internet world, you can now tour our entire store in 3 dimensions.
On Facebook only?
Well, the link to the scan is on our website.
Okay.
So you can go to our website, scroll down, it says View Store in 3D. You click
Oh
on
my
it, and you
gosh.
can like walk through, and then it's a 3D view. You can turn.
Is it one of those that has like the little arrows that you can take your mouse?
Sort
and
of,
move it kind
yeah.
of
You
thing?
can move it all the way around.
Oh my
And you
gosh.
can go up, top, up floor, down a floor, every room, and the whole thing.
I'll have to watch it. That sounds pretty cool.
Okay, so there's a competition right now. So if you go to our Facebook, the company the architect firm who did the 3D scan for us, is giving away a Toad Hall gift card and a local cafe gift card. So for local people.
Okay.
If someone from out of town wins it, we'll make it right.
Yeah.
But so they're giving away gift cards. You have to go over to our Facebook, or I think I posted on Instagram as well, the link for the competition for the 3D scavenger hunt.
Okay.
And what it is you go through, I think there's like 6 questions. It says like, whose face is smiling at you at this point in the store? Or
Oh.
what's the date on this poster on the upstairs in this room over here?
Oh my gosh.
So it makes you go through the 3D scan and find the things, and then you just type in your answers and send it in, and they're going to randomly choose the winners.
When will that be done? Do you have any
Thursday.
idea? Oh.
So today's Tuesday, you got 2
Yeah.
days. You got tonight, tomorrow. I think Thursday at midnight, I want to say.
What date is that? What
Thursday,
the
today's the 13th,
The
14th, 15th. Yeah.
So April 15th.
So yeah, you got to get those in quick because those are ending here this week
Cool.
for the scavenger hunt. But
I'm gonna play that
even
after
if
when we get done with this.
even if you miss
maybe
the
I'll win
scavenger
the
hunt,
gift card.
you can go to the website and you can 3D view our whole shop,
Yeah.
so you know what we're working with.
Which might be a little better than when Nick did his little tour and it was kind of like wonky and wobbly. And
Yeah,
we're getting
this will
dizzy
be way
watching
better.
it.
This is way better. Before we get into some of the used vinyl and rare vinyl, RSD.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna talk about some RSD stuff.
June 12th,
In July 17th.
17th, I believe. Yeah.
I have to double check those dates.
Well,
I'm
June
looking.
12th I know for sure, and it's either the 17th or the 19th, but I think it's the 17th. I do some research, but they ran this computer out last night.
Yeah, Saturday, June 12th. Yeah, and July 17th. So we were right. The list is out. It came out last week. I'm pretty tired today because my mom and I we're here till 9 o'clock the last 2 nights going through it.
Put it back on your
I spent I don't know, 10 to 12 hours going through the list, combing through the list
to determine
to
how
determine
many,
what to order, how many to
how
order.
many.
It takes a long time to order that many
it
records.
does.
And you have to open every single one. We look at the image. We say, what is it? How many is it limited to? What's the price? How many reels is it going to sell? We have a method to the madness. But, sometimes you look at like, oh, the Clash. Oh, great. Yeah, Record Store Clash. Then you click on it. It's an interview.
Oh, really?
You're like, well, that's not going to sell like a live performance or like a cool reissue would. So you have to bump the quantities down. Or sometimes, it's a title you wouldn't know. You click on it. And you're like, oh my gosh, this guy was in this band. Everyone's going to miss this. And you order a bunch of them.
And so there's a lot of research to it.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
research. And thankfully, we're over the hump.
And fortunately, you've got you have enough experience from the past years that
Yeah.
you know what to look for.
We know
and-
kind of what you guys are looking for. Also, if there's something you're looking for RSD, please send us. You have a couple days before we have to get them in finalized. Thursday is the deadline for RSD orders for us. So if there's something you're looking for, just shoot us a message. Say, hey, these are the 5 or 4 or 10 titles that I'm going to want. It'll help us. Maybe we'll bump up our quantities. It'll help us order, make sure we have them for you on Record Store Day.
Right. So we can't do pre-orders, but what we can do is
Make sure we order more.
up the quantity and hopefully get
What you're looking for.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the point of letting us know on that. There are some really cool things on the list. I saw a lot of stuff that I obviously hadn't heard of. There's a lot of cool picture records. Not very many 7 inches, which is cool. A lot of nice reissues. I think we can do a whole show on that. So maybe we'll do that as it gets closer.
Sure.
We're in April, so we still got 2 months or a month and a half before the first Record Store Day rolls
Well, actually
around.
just a little less than 2 months.
A little under 2 months.
Today's the
13th, and it's
July 12th, or June 12th, I'm
so
sorry.
2 months.
Yeah.
So we'll go over all those, but you can go check out the list right now. ArtRecordStoreDay.com. They have all the titles up for both dates, June and July.
Right, and you can open it on their web. You can view it, just the view it as on the computer, or you can do a PDF,
Yep.
and it gives you an idea, and it will tell you how many, what if it's on LP or 7-inch or cassette or CD or whatever format it's going to come in. It's also going to tell you how many of each will be released.
Yeah. It'll have a quantity, say limited to 1,000, limited to 2,000, whatever.
And it's interesting, if you look at the website, it will, somewhere on there, it gives you like a little key. So there's little abbreviations. I think I might mean that it's, I can't remember.
On the far left, it says
the far-
what date, and then if it's a wide release,
Right,
if it's a first release, or if it's a regional focus.
right.
So
So that's kind of fun to look at too.
yeah.
And see what,
Because if it's a one-time release, you're going to want to get it.
Yeah.
It's a first release, that probably means that it's on purple vinyl, but then they're going to put it on black vinyl in 3 months. It'll be available again. So all those are little nuances. We can get into that. We
Yeah.
can do a whole show on that. So you want to talk about the coloring book we got in?
oh, yeah, this is just kind of something fun. There's the Midwest Artists Collective created a local business coloring book for the area, and it's called Screw City Scribbler. Rockford has a vast history of machining, and apparently we're the Screw City. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many manufacturing back
There's
here
still,
in the
I think,
past. There's
4 or
still a
5
lot,
screw
yeah.
companies in this city.
And it's just got a bunch of local businesses. So we've got Beefaroo, which is one of our local businesses, which I understand was sold and is not owned by the original family anymore. And they're thinking about making it a
Franchise it across the
franchise.
country.
Correct. If they do, man, get the French fries.
Yeah.
And here's our little picture.
We got our little page.
We've got a Toad Hall page in there. So
So yeah, we got those all,
Yeah.
and I will say that all the money goes towards a local nonprofit.
correct.
So they're $10.
And there were how many different artists did she say?
And the back
contributed?
page shows all the artists.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's like a local nonprofit fundraiser, kind of a fun little deal.
There's about what 12, 15, without counting different artists who contributed to this. So it's kind of fun.
And Annette likes to color.
Yeah.
She does a lot of adult coloring books. So it was right up her alley. That's how
It
worked
is.
out.
I've started the Olympic one at home.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump
that.
into some of the rare vinyl and trade-ins we got in this week. Original Guided by Voices, Alien Lanes, which it was reissued not that long ago, but this is an original. $20 gatefold on Matador. Record looks. Let's see what it looks like. Mint minus. Thing's perfect. Doesn't look like it was ever played. I'll put that on display. Want to put it on your display?
Oh, absolutely.
Since you don't have a
Since I
computer.
don't have a
The
computer,
computer's
yeah.
down today.
Put that on display there.
What do we got here? Next up, I have the books. The Lemon of Pink. And look at this cool cover. Look at it, slides out and it's like a die cut. Well, this is a booklet. Look at that. I love when they do these cool packaging things. Look at this book. This is like a 15, 20 page booklet.
Wow. That's nice.
It's like a book. It's got more than lyrics. This is like...
Maybe it's got a little bit of artwork in there.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. It's a Vinyl Me Please edition.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So if those of you who aren't familiar with Vinyl Me Please, it is a record club subscription, and you don't know what you're going to get. You just kind of get what you get, which means that sometimes people get records that they don't like. Mm-hmm. The cool thing is they have exclusive color variants, and they sound really good, and they're usually quite collectible after they go out of print. So this one is, does it have a price on it here? Of course, I can't get to it right now.
Here.
I don't know. I don't see a price on it. I don't know how it got in here.
A non-priced in here?
The new John Batiste already came in used. $17 on the books. John Batiste just came in used. $18. Gatefold single LP. I've got people in the store obviously who will buy every new record and listen to it. And if they don't like it, they trade it in. So that's what happened on this one. This album just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, pretty good album. We listened to it. At least side A we listened to in the store last week, and boy, I tell you what, there's a huge variety of different music types on this album.
Yeah, I think that's what threw the buyer off, is they wanted one music type and they got like 4 music types.
Yeah.
So it is kind of it's kind of all over the place. That's not a bad thing.
No, not at all.
It's not a bad thing. As long as you know that going into it, then you'll be a little more prepared. Mm-hmm. So, how do you even say this?
I have no idea.
Benzaten. It's Japanese.
I'll go with that.
Osuma Katajima. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we'll just let Nick
World
read
Music, it's $25. It's recorded in 1976. Since the end of World War II, Japan's culture has been in something of an ongoing state of mutation, with a massive influx of Western technology and custom. During the Reconstruction years, Japan has proven to be more than a bit of a battleground and colliding forces of Eastern and Western philosophies. So it's a kind of a Western music meets Eastern music kind of a record. So. Berlin's Label Group. How about the Shins Heartworms? I don't know if I covered this last week.
I don't think you did.
I don't think I did. So Shins did Worm's Heart and Heartworms. This is Worm's Heart, where they reimagined their other album, Heartworms. Shins are one of my favorite bands. Record looks like brand new. $20. This was traded in this week. I don't even think it was played. Sammy Hagar in the Circle. It's got a piece of dirt in the vinyl.
Manufacturing?
So, yeah, it's a manufacturing defect on it. It's got a little chunk of dirt in it. So I don't think the buyer opened it. The buyer opened it and just immediately returned it, which is fine. But realistically, what's going to happen what happens to returned records? You know what happens to them? They don't get ground up. They get resold at a discount price, guys. So you get the Sammy Hagar in the Circle for $20. Usually when there's dirt in the vinyl, it usually does still play.
So we've got some stuff to listen to here at the store today.
We got some stuff to listen to.
Do we have any questions? I can't read the questions today since I have a black screen here in front of my face.
I think I've shown this before, but I have one Megadeth So Far So Good So What signed CD left. This is signed by Jeff Young, who is the guitarist on this album. He was with the band for just this album. He was in a bunch of other bands, a lot of other projects. He played our store. This is from when he came to our store in 2015.
Wow.
We have one left. He signed a bunch of stuff. And this is the last piece I have left of that. So if you're a big Megadeth fan or a Jeff Young fan or just love signed stuff, that's kind of a cool piece. All right.
Did you look at the questions if we have anything?
Yeah, I just had people saying hey from Austin. Guy said he got motion sickness from our 3D tour. Depending on what you watch it on, definitely. This Green Jelly record, just Green Jelly Live, is a soundtrack to the Green Jelly Sucks live documentary. This was bought right off their merch table. Was traded in locally. It's got the DVD of the movie. It's got the 7-inch. It has the LP, which has a single sheet. It's like a little poster.
It's a poster, yeah.
Look at this vinyl.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I don't think it was ever played. And guess what? He traded it in because he needed more money to go to the next show.
I know.
So that does happen. I mean, these shows are going to be getting expensive, guys. Everyone's going to all these shows. So.
Especially now that they're just finally starting back up.
And this one is a little bit, I mean, these are pretty rare. I only saw 2 on Discogs, and they started at $90, I think. We have ours for $80. So it is, their stuff is extremely collectible. Green jelly stuff. So, yeah, we got that in. What else we got? We had some other interesting trade-ins. Some stuff that I don't know that's newer. Space Arc. $14. Single LP. Black vinyl. Looks like brand new. Want to read some of the songs off?
Fever Pitch, Junior Blaster, Our Love Will Last, Do What You Can Do. So, we've got keyboard, bass, vocal, guitars, and drums on this one.
Nice.
Yeah. And there is no year on it.
How about Titus Grown? There's another thing I don't know about, but it's definitely a new 180-gram record. Looks brand spanking new. It is a gatefold. Let's see if we can get a better picture of it here. Titus Grown. So some of these rare records, guys, I haven't even had a chance to listen to them because I've been working on Record Store Day stuff. But single LP, gatefold. Doesn't have a year on it. Made in Italy. 2000. So, which would explain why it's $40, $45. Well, a little bit more rare of a record there. It was just traded in this week. Here's a little more. Here's a Lead Belly 3 LP box. The box is a little bit crushed, but the LPs are VG plus. If you're into Lead Belly, you're into like bluesy folk kind of stuff. It's a nice box set to get. A Library of Congress recordings. 3 LP set. Check out the Sean Lennon.
Into the Sun. So what do we got here? Ooh.
I think it's pretty rare.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't think it's a very common record. It's $35. Sean Lennon Into the Sun. It's a full length, 13 songs on Grand Royal Records.
And so one label's blue to meet the back, and one label's pink.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Gonna match the.
And this is just mint minus. I mean.
Perfect. It's got a nice lyric sheet there, with all the lyrics on every song. Some home sketches. It looks like. $35. If you're a big Beatles fan, or just if you like Sean's stuff.
Yeah.
Got some rare Guar records in. Look at this. This Toilet Earth on split vinyl. You ever seen Guar? You ever watched them?
No.
You ever watched a video of them?
I don't know. I don't think so. Would I remember it if I did?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they spray they're famous for spraying the audience with blood with their stage show.
Oh.
Red colored dot, red water.
No.
I've seen them a few times. It's a big orchestrated stage show. They all come out dressed in these characters and they play their music, and like they'll. Whatever's politically going on, they decapitated Hillary Clinton when I last saw her. And of course her head chops off and blood sprays on the audience.
It's because it's interesting.
Yeah, you want to say some of the...
No, I can't say some of these names.
Saddam Go-Go, Jack the World, Bad Bad Men,
Pocket Pool,
Slap You Around, Penis I See.
That's the one I didn't think I could say on here.
I think we could say that.
Okay.
So yeah, this is red and black split. It's $70. Obviously way out of print, like most of their records are. And then this one is also the same price, $70. This one is America Must Be Destroyed. 2 LP, lyric sheet, black vinyl, like brand spanking new. This one, say some of the titles on this one.
Ham on the Bone.
Pussy Planet.
Cracking the Egg.
Poor Old Tom. Rock and Roll Never Felt So Good.
Gilded Lily.
Gore.
What's a gore?
I'm telling you, it's a hell of a show if you ever get a chance to see Gore.
All right, I won't wear white.
We'll stay in the back.
Okay.
Make sure you have a few beers and you're ready for a good laugh. You can't take them too seriously.
Okay.
But it is a good show. And especially if you like hard rock, heavy metal, it's even better. Then we got a slew of L7 records in.
Yes.
L7 reissue their 88 debut. This is Slap Happy. Detroit L7. Got a whole slew of them. $25, $20, $20, $20. They're all like brand new. They're all on shrink. And then there's another L7.
He thought that was the same band, but
I think it's different.
It is, because 7 spelled out instead of on
Yep.
these. It's that one's L-7 with the 7 spelled out, and these are L7 with the numeral 7.
Not to be confused.
No, because they're not the same band.
Yep, different band.
Which
This one's on Third Man Records,
Which
which
he
is kind of cool.
discovered.
This is on Third Man Records, so.
So bottle vinyl.
Also, L7 has a record store day release. I can tell you that because I went through the list yesterday and I saw.
Oh,
it
do
on
they?
there. And they do. Oh. So, a bunch of L7. I went to college with Guar. That's awesome. Yeah,
Like
I love those
is
guys.
that like the College of Hard Knocks?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Robert, what kind of college is that? College of awesome stage shows and killer rock. I love those guys. They really do a good job. I understand that not everyone understands it or gets it or enjoys it, but they do a phenomenal job. Those guys are always on the road. They're on the road as much as Cheap Trick is. So, at least they were. So.
Well, I've just started trying to look up some concerts that are starting finally to open up. So hopefully starting maybe this summer things.
Yeah, I think it's going to start happening. Mm-hmm. If you saw anything you liked in the show today, some of it's online, a lot of it isn't. Give us a call, 815-226-1259. The Toad Hall online is the website. If you want to do the 3D tour, it's on the website. If you want to do the 3D tour scavenger hunt competition, you have to go to our Facebook or our Instagram. Has links. Rockford Toad Hall is the Facebook and the Instagram. We'll be here till 6. Check out therecordstoreday.com for the list of things going on there. If you're local,
yes,
come in this weekend. We're having a big buy 3 get 1 free sale on just about everything: CDs, DVDs, 8-tracks, cassettes, 10% off stereo equipment. Yeah, big sale coming up. We're gonna have a book sale. We're gonna have a big table with 25-cent books, whole table full of cheap books. So
hopefully it's nice this weekend. We can get outside.
And it's nice out today, so we might get lucky.
Yeah,
so.
that'd be cool.
Thanks so much for watching. I should hopefully have some MoFi stuff this week. I don't know.
Hopefully
we'll see what happens this week.
It's kind of thin over there in the rack.
Yeah, it is. It is. They're working on that blood, sweat, and tears pretty hard. So.
Oh, the one step.
Yep, that's what they're working on. Cool. So. And then that and RTI's busy pressing record store day stuff. So between the two, we're getting pushed. So, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. Helps us out.